Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and a warm welcome to all of you today on day four and the last day of the Deep Tech Innovation Alley 2023. After an enriching and engrossing 3 days covering themes such as corporate innovation, sustainability, and deep tech, and growth over the last 3 days, we conclude today with the theme on data. Data has always been in use for a long time in decision making, but with the ability to get access to huge volumes of structured and unstructured data, supported by technological advancements to provide deeper insights, we are presented with a new set of opportunities and challenges as enterprises leverage this information for business advantage. To kick that, to kickstart the discussion today, we start off with this first session on blazing the data trails with a practitioner's view of how the power of deep tech and technologies has been used to drive business results. I have the honor and pleasure today of inviting Vikram Mansukani on stage. Vikram is a seasoned supply chain practitioner with almost 3 decades of experience. He currently works with India's largest domestic integrated express shipping company, Blue Dart, as its national head of operations. Prior to this assignment, he has been engaged with organizations in the area of aviation and supply chain solution services. He hails from the city of Joy, Kolkata, where he did his education, including his MBA. He has been is a keynote speaker in various supply chain forums, operations management schools, and industry events, and has been included in national policy related inputs and discussions. As an individual, he is a team player by leadership trait and possesses excellent domain knowledge in supply chain strategy, process design, and implementation, air and surface network creation, channel management, industrial engineering, large infrastructure design, people management, and development of software platforms that enable supply chain optimization. Having worked with such a large, diverse workforce across very demanding industries and situations, he believes that the collaborative solutions building within the immediate ecosystem as the only way forward for any organization to succeed. On the personal side, in his free time, he is a foodie at heart and an experimental chef at heart. Welcome, Vikram, to the show.
Thank you so much, Murli, for having me over, and thank you to the Network Science team for inviting me to this very haloed August gathering. Clearly, very relevant subject for discussion, and look forward to making it as interactive as possible.
So I think while we kickstart this question now with some structured questions that we will be actually talking about, I encourage all participants to put in your questions in the Q&A session, and we will try to take it, even in between if possible, if it is more relevant to the topic that is being discussed, or we will try and take it up at the end of the show. Right. So Vikram, to kickstart this discussion, data is the new oil. Okay, data has been in use for a long time for decision making. Can you please share your view on how, with the advancement of technologies and the volume of data that is being presented today, are you leveraging this data to drive your key business objectives?
Right, thanks, Murli. And maybe just to be politically correct, instead of saying data is the new oil, we'll call it the new alternative fuel, right? Sustainability and all of that hanging on our heads. So, just to give you, maybe a picture of the scale and size, of the organization which I represent, because that's very relevant and important to, then blend in why data is so important for us. We are India's largest integrated express package delivery company. We fly 8 aircrafts across the length and breadth of this magnificent India every single night. We dispatch over 4,000 vehicles on road every single day. We deliver about 1.5 million packages. We touch almost a million plus customers in some shape, size, or form every single day, and there are 40,000 blue darters out there on the road performing this magic. Now, having put that scale on the map, you can really imagine the kind of data exchange that happens and facilitates all of this. As a user, very often, and of course me included, we all thought what's there in picking up a package and delivering it. But what happens behind the scenes is clearly and absolutely guided based on data, touch points, a very, very robust technology platform. And why do we need data? I think we need data very, very clearly to enable the service quality that we deliver, to live on the promise that we commit to our customers, to ensure that incidents, if any that happen, are reported on time. And actually, we have been moving progressively towards prevention of those incidents. We need data to plan our infra based on volume forecasts from customers, based on volume forecasts from our receivers. We need to build deviation triggers so that incidents are prevented, both physical and process related incidents. And at the end of the day, where we are heading to is building preemptive control rather than using data just for post facto analysis. Preemptive control would then, of course, allow us, and we have been using it, to do route planning, which enormously enables sustainability in terms of lesser usage of resources, uh, avoiding incidents, like I said earlier, and very importantly for us, in terms of planning resources based on the forecast that we get from our customers. Now, behind all of this, obviously, is a very, very robust data science and analytics team that we have, which mines this data through the various pipelines that it comes to us, containerizes all of this data through ETL platforms and API platforms, and then, of course, stores this data in an easily retrievable fashion on both cloud and on-prem architecture that we've developed. So clearly, data is the only food that we eat, the only breath that we take, and it is absolutely a fundamental business enabler for us.
Great, Vikram. So maybe an associated question, maybe just an offshoot of this. Are there specific KPIs that Blue Dart as a company has defined to really measure the success of these initiatives? Based on, obviously, there are three levers as I see, right? One obviously is to say, how is it that you're driving revenue growth? The second is, how is it that you're optimizing on costs? And third, but most importantly, a softer aspect is all around customer experience.
Right. So clearly, I think you mentioned all the three KPI that we live and breathe by. And to facilitate this, let me possibly take you through some of the method which we adopt in creating data which helps us get to these KPIs. So I think the first and foremost is obviously getting a team that understands supply chain and its nuances. It's not getting a team of just pure programmers and data miners right from outside to come and work with us. All of our data mining, data capturing, data and analytics happens within the team, and a team that understands the supply chain nuances. We allow them to leverage machine learning because that makes it dynamic rather than making it absolutely reactive. Uh, and what's very, very important is to ensure that the visualization of the data analytics that's done, is done based on the very wide cross section of users that we have, and therefore the analysis is done for business transformation. The analysis is done for operations usage. The analysis is done for strategic use, and the analysis is used just for people who would like to go in and mine that data further or take a look at that. Now, all the touch points that we have in terms of volume that goes out allows us to plan our daily rosters, allows us to deploy the number of vehicles by route that we need to send out, and most importantly, it allows us to measure whether we have delivered shipments within the promised timeline, not only by day but also by time of day. uh, again, what's very, very critical for an organization like us is we deliver a very large section of securitized products. For example, all credit cards that come to your houses is mostly delivered by Blue Dart. Now, the ability to use data to do demographic analysis on, ensuring that this delivery happens on time every time to the right person, it just cannot be done without the data mining that happens and the preemptive forecast that we generate for delivery.
Great, thank you. So moving on, maybe if you could touch upon an area. See, today obviously there is huge amount of structured and unstructured data that provides a huge amount of opportunities to provide hyper personalized services. So in your business, how do you really see this being applicable, and how are you exploring it to be actually leveraged to the fullest? How is it that you differentiate maybe your customer segmentation and other things?
Sure. So for us, structured data really comes in from 2 points, which is fundamentally the shippers, because they give us, where the shipment needs to go to, what kind of priority deliveries they prefer, uh, what is the kind of timeline within which they want us to deliver, because all of these, go through various differentiated product offerings or services that we bring to the table. And on the other side, it's fundamentally the receivers, where we need to ensure that we're doing the delivery in a secure manner, in a time bound manner, and with ease of convenience for acceptance. Right now, we use, of course, the data that shippers give us to plan the resources, and based on the fact that we're delivering almost 1.5 million packages a day, touching almost 20,000 plus pin codes, which is almost 94% of India's pin code coverage, right? We do have tremendous amount of data in terms of, you know, uh, where customers would like their packages delivered, what time frames customers would like their packages to be delivered in, and that's where the structured data comes in and helps us. The other piece where we capture data is obviously through our field staff. Through, many a time you go in to deliver a package and the customer is not available. There's a neighbor who talks to you. There's a security guard who talks to you. So all of this gets captured by our frontline staff and then gets converted into data for use in terms of defining areas where, for example, deliveries are not allowed between say 9 and 11 in the morning, or deliveries are not allowed late in the evening, or deliveries are preferred maybe in certain institutions between a certain time frame. So that's just one example. There are many such queries and checks that we run. uh, and obviously the structured data comes in through APIs to us, from the customers who ship with us. The non-structured data, after it gets captured, is where our data analytics teams really use ETL tools to merge this into understandable, configurable data for relevant usage.
Right. So maybe switching on to slightly different point of view. How do you ensure that while you are collecting huge amount of data, there is this huge discussion around privacy and security and other things, right? While you collect a lot of information or demographic information that you collect about people and other things as part of your as a part of your overall operations, how do you ensure that you take care of some of these regulatory requirements that actually creep in? And how do you ensure that there is this use of what we call as ethical boundaries of usage of data?
Sure. So the data that we collect is fundamentally, like I said, from our shippers. We do not collect individual personal data of the recipients. The data that we, of course, collect from our shippers is bound by NDAs, is bound by contracts. It goes through, most of this goes through an API exchange where it is consumed at source and it is destroyed at source without having access to any users thereafter. Similarly, all delivery data, whether even if it is a credit card, for example, wherein we come to your doorstep, we do look at capturing the last four digits of the Aadhaar card, just as an example. we immediately encrypt the data the moment it goes into the delivery staff's Android device, and this is not accessible to anyone unless it is really to be used for some sort of investigation later by an authorized agency, etc. So fundamentally, it is data which is used and destroyed after use immediately. And as an organization, we do not have a policy of sending out SMSs, asking for customer details, making phone calls asking for customer details. So it is not data that is collected randomly. It is data collected in a very, very structured form, used, and then like I said, encrypted or destroyed.
You say that even when you're actually, let's say your agent is actually coming to the doorstep and looking in Aadhaar, this thing, and capturing that information,
Right.
that you have the technology today to encrypt the data there itself,
Absolutely.
when they capture it, so that it's secured end to end from an
Absolutely.
architecture perspective. That's great. Maybe what are some of the key challenges that you face around data quality? Because while today we have a plethora of data that is available, multitudes and huge volumes of data that is available, one of the questionable things about getting the right insights is always depends on the quality of data that you have. How does the quality of data impact you, and especially when you have data being collected from multiple sources, or data being resident in multiple sources, with probably not everything not being consistent? How do you really drive some of these things, to ensure that you get the right insights?
So we try and keep it simple. We don't store data anywhere else apart from a single central repository. And given the fact that all our business starts at a specific point and ends at a specific point, we use the source. For us, the source is clearly the available. The available resides into a central database, and everything that we do around it, whether it's to deliver, whether it's to bill, whether it is to redirect a shipment, all centers around the available, and these support activity pull data away and bring it back to the central database. Uh, and then, of course, whatever happens in the life cycle of that package as it keeps getting captured, both through structured and unstructured feedback that we get or data points that we get. Like I said, our team uses ETL tools to separate, so to say, the wheat from the chaff, and then brings on board analytical dashboards to be used at relevant levels, which then really allows us to make those key decisions based on validated data. So we don't fundamentally allow unvalidated data or invalidated data to percolate into the system, and create a option of choices which would probably confuse us.
Sure. Great. Moving on to more from a tech perspective, Vikram, industry today is flooded with a plethora of tools and technologies, okay, which can be overwhelming. Obviously, there's a lot of deep tech jargon that's all floating around and other things. And I'm sure you're also flooded with a lot of vendors coming in with various solutions, trying to say that they solve your problems. Right? How do you manage this challenge, and how do you ensure that you're focused on choosing the right set of tools so that actually meets your business objectives that you want to use leveraging your data?
Okay, so I think few rules of the game. In our case, business really owns the IT decisions. So when I say business, it's the operations function, it's the finance function, it's the sales function, and so on. It's not technology just for the sake of leveraging technology. It is technology, obviously, with an end business outcome in mind. Having said that, most of our platforms that we use and integrate within the house are all proprietary. We don't go and buy stuff off the shelf. There are obviously some facets of it like Power BI or cloud storage, etc., which given the economies of scale we would bring into the business. But the fundamental applications, the fundamental architecture that we develop is absolutely homegrown and proprietary, and that allows us to customize on the run, because the business needs scalability, needs the ability to deal with a very very dynamic situation that keeps coming up. And that's really what's allowed us to stay away from the confusion in the marketplace and try and go and experiment too much. We take one step at a time, but it's a sure shot step forward. There's no looking back after that.
Sure. Maybe I have a question which is there by raised by one of the participants, which is associated closely. So maybe I'll
Sure.
take the question in between here itself, since it is related to the topic that we are discussing. The question is, as a leading logistics service provider, how has Blue Dart integrated deep tech solutions into its operations to maintain a competitive edge in industry? In short, while you do that, how do you really benchmark yourself with competition to ensure that you are actually staying ahead of the curve?
So let me give you one example. A very, very growing segment for us, and of course, the industry at large, is e commerce. And of course, e commerce is fraught with a very, very high percentage of returns or refusals, right? Now, using deep tech, using analytics around it, we are able to uh, you know preempt or forecast certain areas where there is a very very high refusal rate, or certain individuals who continuously return packages. And that allows us to deal with the situation, deal with planning in such a manner that we don't make failed attempts, we don't make wasted attempts, thereby saving on resources, saving on cost. That's just one example. There are many such.
Sure, I think that's great. And what sort of KPIs or metrics does Blue Dart track to measure the success and impact of deep tech adoption in improving the company's operations? Do you have some specific measures that are based on the technology that you adopt, or is this just integrated with your business metrics?
So I think fundamentally two. One is service quality. How does deployment of deep tech and technology allow us to service our customers better? We do a very very thorough and intense customer feedback survey. We do include questions on technology on that. Specifically asking customers if our technology has helped them, leverage their business, help them get a better feedback from end customers. So that's one. And two is, in terms of cost. For every package that we reattempt or can avoid a reattempt on, because of the fact that we've been able to forecast the possibility of a delivery, it will save us money. It will save us a few rupees, right? So how has deployment of technology brought down our cost per piece or our cost per kilometer? Is a clear metric that associates technology deployment within the organization.
Sure. Maybe an incidental question from my side. Do you differentiate between, let's say, a corporate or enterprise customers and retail customers? How do you really look at it differently? Because obviously the dynamics are slightly different. Because corporate customers, they are mostly available during daytime. For retail customers, maybe the timings are different, because especially in today's families, when you have both the husband and wife working and other things. Okay, some of these things change. How do you really differentiate and leverage technology to help you drive more operational efficiency in these operations?
So clearly, two sides of the coin. One is when we really engage with a corporate customer or a retail customer on the side of picking up the shipment. The corporate customer would like to receive dashboards, analysis on the volume of shipments that's gone through. They would measure us in terms of the efficiency levels that we deliver, in terms of the package handling that we do, etc. So that's really on the side of picking up shipments. A retail customer would obviously like to be able to access our retail footprint very easily, and would also of course like to be able to probably pay through a digital medium. So that's where the focus is on the side of picking up shipments. On the side of delivering, especially on large commercial shipments. We do use technology platforms to allow customers to fix delivery by appointments, so that they are available and we can send in our vehicles and our people to deliver it within that time window. Similarly, for customers who are not available between a specific time window, we do generate an SMS or a WhatsApp chatbot to allow scheduled deliveries, in most of the cases of e-commerce and our credit card deliveries as well.
Okay, great. Maybe let me move slightly differently. While I think all this is great to hear that how you're leveraging and getting business benefits, what do you see are some of the risks to the whole data program that you use to basically get your business benefits? And would appreciate if you would cover the technology side, the process side, and people element, which drives some of these risks.
So I think from a people side, and that's where I'll start first. What we really do is a communication overdose, and it's very very important to let every man, right till the last man on the ground, understand the severity of disruption that could happen. Should there be an intrusion. So we do a lot of communication. We do in-house Trojan horse tests in terms of sending out, email links and testing if someone's going to respond or react to that. Uh, we do have a very, very strengthened cybersecurity protocol. We do use a self-generating moat defense system. All right, probably some of the technology experts on this would understand what a moat self-generating technology platform is. Obviously, we do have the standard firewalls and restricted access, but I think that the trouble really happens when you get a suicide bomber, someone who's made up his mind to destroy all of this. And while all of this build these protocols around intrusion not happening, uh, well, there is someone or the other who will possibly one day sneak in and make a situation very very difficult for us. So I think we take all preemptive measures, but and we've been very lucky so far that there's been no disruptions in the system. But hopefully we will not get that suicide bomber one day.
Great. Anything that you see from tech side that you see as risks that could actually impact your overall program?
At this point of time, I'd like to say no, and we are staying firm on enabling that no.
That's great. Great to hear. Maybe last question, because I think we're just about a couple of minutes away. Looking forward, what is it that you're seeing in terms of your roadmap to really adopt some of the future technologies, especially some of these things around AI and some of these developments that are happening with Chat GPT and other stuff, which can actually monetize and your data much more effectively.
So, just to give you an example, we've moved from, or rather, we've included, besides the normal GPS coordinates, we've included what three words as a way of delivering to our customers. We keep, improving our homegrown databases or our homegrown applications in line with what customers have been demanding from us. Uh, Chat GPT, I'm honestly not really sure on how and where we're really going to use it. We've had number of closed room discussions on it. I think it's still very very premature. Something that's on the table, but I think we've still got to work and see how it's going to bring value to us.
Okay, great, thank you. I think as we are coming to the top of the hour, I think we'll have to wind up this talk. I think I would like to mention that all the participants that we are actually setting up a poll. We request all participants to respond to this poll, and then thank you very much and stay tuned for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.